Back to recording. Sorry, my friend called me in the middle of recording. Back to what I was saying. What was I saying? Oh, flavor juices. Yeah, it's preference. It really is, and you know, I can give recommendations. I can tell you what juice flavors I think are the best, which is something I don't like. What I've also noticed is some juice flavors will taste well. Let's say on my RDA, but won't taste as well on a tank, and vice versa. Like citrus flavors I noticed don't taste the best on RDAs. I've learned that from experience. They really don't. Citrus flavors, really, maybe someone likes citrus flavors in their RDA, but from what I've tasted and tried in the past months, is citrus flavors are a must avoid on RDAs. Maybe I just haven't found the right lemonade flavor. I noticed with lemonade flavors I tried, I get too much citrus and not enough sweetness. It's like vaping the rinds or the peels of said citrus fruit. Now, orange, I noticed I haven't had a problem with, but lime I have, or lemon, whatever, lime, lemon, ugh, I don't, nah, it's whatever. But, right now, I am pruning, as I call it, or snipping the cotton to the length I like it. I like it a little bit short on one side, a little bit longer on the other side, just how I do things. I've always been doing things ever since I started using RDAs. Uh, I think in future videos, I'm going to do, like, benefits of, RDAs over tanks and tanks over RDAs. I might go a little into it. I'll briefly go into it. With RDAs, there's a little more maintenance, but you're not going to be spending as much money as you would be on coils as cotton. Like a big, a thing of cotton between $5 and $10. A pack of 5 or 6 coils, that's like almost $20. Um, then again, RDAs aren't for everyone, and you have to be a little more patient with RDAs, and you have to be a little more, knowledgeable when using one, because you get a dry hit, and from my experience, and what dry hits taste like burnt marshmallows to me. For some reason, I just do. That's the flavor I get when I get a dry hit. They're not fun, so if anyone out there uses RDAs and knows what I'm talking about, it is the struggle. And I snipped this a little too short. I should be fine. It should be fine. That's not too short for this. This has a relatively big reservoir in it, but short of the cotton. It's pretty thick cotton too. That's another thing I should go over. Cotton preference. Some people like cotton bacon, some like samurai, some like private reserve, some like boogeyman. There's also another assortment of cottons out there. You can use regular cotton balls from the supermarket. There's no difference. I just prefer to use name brand than, store bought or supermarket bought cotton. Then again, like with everything I've been saying, it comes down to preference. You like this, you like that, you don't like this, you don't like that, maybe you like this, maybe you don't, you should try it, should I try it, who, what, where, and why, whatever. There's a lot of questions that you gotta ask yourself before getting into vaporizing, and, some people just do it to do it, like myself. Some people do it to get over addiction to cigarettes, which can help if you do it right, and stick with it. When this happens. This is an older bottle juice of mine. It's called Grind. I get it at a local vape shop here, and I noticed with 120 mils or any bottles, the older they get, the seal doesn't get weakens obviously over time, and I have to put a bag essentially when I'm carrying it, or it just drips all over my bag, my backpack when I put it in there. Right now I'm priming the cotton so it tastes right and fires right, and I'll have it the wattage I want to. Usually I run between 85 and 70 depending on my build. Right now both my mods here are running at 70, which is just fine. I like a lukewarm hit, you could say. Not too hot, not too cold. I guess kind of like that's a Goldilocks reference there if you're familiar with the children's book. Then again, it's all fucking preference. Excuse my language. Ugh. Great, I have to bleep that out. YouTube might not let me post this now that said the F word. I'm sure I already cussed plenty of times. And if I do curse, I apologize. I gotta work on that. I'm really bad when it comes to cursing. If you ever see me in public or get a chance to meet me, you will know that I love to curse. And if you find offense to that, I'll apologize and try to keep that back to a minimum. But right now, I'm firing it to see what the heck. Okay, one side's firing faster than the other one, and that's a problem. I have one side firing, one side not. And that's happened a lot recently. So I'm going to tighten this down. There we go. Okay then. What the H double hockey sticks? This thing has been giving me issues. I'm gonna have to bring it into the vape shop to get looked at. Yeah, it's only firing one side right now. Shoot. That actually really upsets me. Let me try this side. Maybe this side needs to be tightened down. Yeah, that was loose. There we go. Now she wants to fire. Well, just a loose screw. That happens all the time. With RDAs, it's definitely user error or trial and error. Tanks, you don't have to worry about that as much because you just, prime the coil, let it sit for a bit, let it steep, I guess you could say, and then, go from there, fill your tank up, let it, start at a low wattage and gradually every half hour ramp up or I recommend with tanks, if you put a new coil in there, let it, you prime the coil, don't fire it because you're going to burn it out, but when you get the coil primed, it's all primed ready. It's better to over prime than under prime, therefore making coil last longer and not burn out as quickly. Learn that from personal experience. But say you get a fresh coil in there, you get your juice in there. With that new coil, I recommend starting at, depending on the tank, between 60 and 35, and then gradually every half hour ramping it up 5 or 10 watts. That's from my personal experience. Maybe you do it differently. If you do it differently, let me know. Tell me your tips and tricks so I can pass it on to the next person so they can be more knowledgeable about vaping. I was gonna say, I might do a segment on battery safety myself. I just picked up some battery wraps so I can rewrap my batteries. Haven't done it in a while. I might need to relearn myself how to do it exactly so I can teach you how to do it correctly so you are not going to blow yourself up with faulty batteries or batteries that are unstable. Because say if your A tank connector gets exposed to the internal parts of the battery, a couple things are going to happen. The battery's always going to vent, and then with energy from real life physics, does whatever it wants. It can blow up, it can shoot out, it can expand, it can do whatever it wants. It's energy. It does what it wants. It does as it pleases. As human beings, we control it. If there was no telephone wires, electricity would be going which way ever it wanted to. If there's no regulations or transformers, we would be overrun by electricity. Okay, that's a bit of exaggeration, and probably don't quote me on that. Yeah. Anyways, I think I'm out of here. I think 8 minutes seems good enough for my first video, technically second video, because I was interrupted in my first attempt to record. So try to watch them in sequences. But thank you for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye now.